This week's word of the week is going to be Preflow. What does Preflow mean? I'll go over that in a second. On a scale of 1 to 10, Preflow, if you don't know what it is probably like a 7. It's pretty important that you know what it is. Not critically important. You won't look like a complete fool if you don't know what Preflow is, but it's still pretty important. So I rated it about a 7 out of a 1 to 10 factor. What is Preflow? So Preflow basically prevents contamination, prevents atmospheric contamination and any process that needs an outside shielding gas. So what does that mean? Basically, if you have a MIG gun or a TIG welder and you initiate the arc with no Preflow, you're basically going to have some kind of contamination in the beginning of that weld because the shielding hasn't been established yet. So you'll get atmospheric contamination to some degree. Is it enough to make it to where it's failed? Maybe, maybe not, depending on your procedures. But what Preflow does is it shoots the gas out before the actual arc is struck, so it pushes the atmospheric contamination out before the arc is struck. So that's what Preflow does. Prevents contamination. I got seconds written down here. When you set your Preflow, it's going to be in seconds. Most of the time, if you're just doing regular MIG or regular TIG, if you're just doing steel or aluminum, it's going to be a fraction of a second. It's going to be like 0.5 seconds. I always think that's a pretty good Preflow. It gives you a half a second of gas coming out before the arc is struck. So it's measured in seconds. One thing you got to remember, if the nozzle isn't over the joint, or the gas cup, whatever you want to call it, if it's not right over where you're about to start welding, that does nothing for you because it's got to push the air out right where you're about to start welding. So I wrote down, make sure the nozzle is above the joint, right? And then down here I got welding procedures like we were just talking about. Typically if you get a welding procedure specification, it's going to say how many seconds of Preflow is required for whatever you're welding. If you get into some of the stranger metals like titanium, the Preflow usually goes up a little bit. Problems. The reason I chose Preflow for the word of the week is because somebody came to me and told me their welder was broken. Welder's broken, right? Well, what happens is if you have the Preflow, some of them have knobs, and they'll turn the knob up to 10 seconds, let's say. Well, you'll pull the trigger or push the foot pedal down, depending on whatever process you're doing, and the welder won't strike an arc, right? And people think the welder's broken because they're like, it's not striking an arc. Normally, you just go over and turn the Preflow down, and you're good to go. But people think the welder's broken. So that's not really a problem. It's just something that happens when people have the Preflow set too high. So too much time. A lot of times people have the Preflow set at like 7-8 seconds when they're TIG welding regular stainless or whatever. So you're just wasting money down here. I got the dollar sign, right? Everybody knows what that means. You're just hissing gas into the air unnecessarily. Usually it's around a second or two. That's about the max you're going to want for a Preflow, unless you're doing something strange, like I said, like titanium or magnesium or whatever. So there's not a lot of problems. People think the welder's broken, too much Preflow, and it just wastes money. It doesn't hurt the weld or anything. It just wastes these dollar signs right here. So what we're going to do now is go out in the lab. I'm going to grab a couple TIG welders, grab a couple MIG welders, and we'll show you how to set the Preflow. Sometimes they're real easy. You just turn a knob. Sometimes you got to hold something down while you're turning the machine on, and it can get a little bit more difficult. But what we'll do is we'll go out, we'll look at some welders, and we'll show you how to set the Preflow on. All right, the first TIG welder we're looking at is a Lincoln Precision TIG 275. The Preflow setting is real easy. It's right here. You just turn this knob. It starts at, I guess it goes below 2. And then it goes 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You can go all the way up to a minute. A minute seems a bit long, but that's what the Precision TIG 275 that Lincoln makes. That's what the Preflow is. That's how you set it. You just turn the knob up. If you need more, you just crank it up. Now we'll take a look at a Miller. Now, this is a Miller Synchrowave 250DX. To get the Preflow to work, it's a little bit more difficult than just turning the knob like on that last Lincoln. You have to hold this TIG button while you turn the machine on. And there you go. That's your Preflow. 2.0 seconds. If you want to change it, just keep pushing this TIG button. It goes up to 5. It goes back to a point before it goes up to the major seconds there. Not the fractions of the seconds. So I'm just going to put it at 0.4. So 0.4 seconds of Preflow is what you'll get. You just turn it off, turn it back on, and your Preflow set. So what we'll do now is we'll go look at a couple of MIGs. First MIG we're looking at is a Lincoln Power MIG 350. It's a multi-process weld. We use them for push-pull guns for welding aluminum. The pre-flow for this is really easy. You just toggle this down to pre-flow. It's at 0.5, you can see. If I want to lower it, you just toggle up. So it's at 0.5, half a second. Go back up to weld mode, you're ready to go. That's probably one of the easiest ones. So we'll look at a different one now. This is the last welder I'm going to show you. I had one more Lincoln I was going to show you, but it turns out it doesn't have pre-flow on it. This is a Miller 252. This is a little bit different to get the pre-flow going as well. What you have to do is you hold the trigger of the gun. So I got the trigger of the gun, I'm pressing it, and then I'm starting it. Goes to run, pre-flow. There you go. And you can toggle through other stuff too. So that's a little much. Let's go down to like 0.2 or 3. So that shows you how to do a bunch of pre-flows on a bunch of different machines. Hopefully you understand what pre-flow means. Just shielding gas coming out before the wire does, or before the arc is struck with TIG. So that's all we got for today. Thanks for watching and subscribing to TV Weld, and we'll see you next week. We're outie.